That was not a top 50 verse. Not at all.
No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries. And like, if you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones, while Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached number 1 on the Billboard.
Jim Jones really woke up one day and chose chaos, starting beef with not 1, not 2, but 3 heavyweights in hip-hop, Nas, Pusha T, and No Malice. And now, he's finding out the hard way that some shots just ain't worth firing. The whole industry is watching him spiral in slow motion, all because he thought he could toss out some harmless opinions and walk away clean. But instead, he triggered one of the most strategic clapbacks the rap game has seen in years. That's when everyone realized what had just gone down. He didn't just spark drama, he might have actually resurrected Clipse, all over a reckless take saying Nas wasn't relevant. What started as casual shade exploded into a lyrical crossfire that reached all the way to Paris Fashion Week, with Pharrell, Beyonce, and Jay-Z sitting front row, watching it unfold like a movie. And right in the eye of the storm, Jim Jones. The same guy who said Pusha T's music never meant anything to him is now being used as promo for Clipse's comeback. You could feel Harlem go dead silent when Jim opened his mouth and let this fly. He didn't just take shots, he pulled Nas's whole legacy into the ring and claimed it wasn't even memorable enough. For real, the craziest part? That wasn't even the wildest thing Jim said that week. He didn't just drop the comment and bounce. Nah, he laughed about it. Then kept doubling and tripling down like he was proud of the smoke he started. He hit the Breakfast Club Bag Fuel nightcap with Shannon Sharp, even popped up in street interviews and live streams, all repeating the same thing like it was gospel. At one point, Jim tried to brush off the drama by claiming he was just being honest as a fan. But then, on Bag Fuel, he took it to another level. He flipped the script completely and said he was the reason Nas was going viral again. According to Jim, no one had been talking about Nas like this in years, not since the Ether era. He really said on camera, viral at all, ever. That's how bold he got with it. But here's the thing, Jim clearly didn't know who he was messing with. Nas isn't the type to go back and forth in interviews. He's the kind that links with billionaires, locks in major deals, and moves in silence while building empires. Jim kept talking. Nas stayed quiet and got to work. While Jim was out here sparking imaginary fires, Nas was plotting one of the coldest flexes hip-hop has ever seen. No clapback, no diss track, just power moves. He posted an ad on Instagram, casually flexing a $5 billion Queens casino project. Time to invest in us. That wasn't just a business move. Nas was making it loud and clear. He's way too rich for this kind of back and forth. And if that had been the only fire Jim played with, maybe things would have cooled off. But nope, Jim had to take it further. This time he came for Pusha T. He dragged his name down, claiming Pusha wasn't even top 50. And what he didn't see coming, No Malice was listening too. Now people are seriously wondering, did Jim just reunite Clipse with one reckless take? Let's rewind a little, because Clipse didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They'd been laying low for nearly 15 years. But behind the scenes, Pusha T had already started planting seeds. Months before Jim even spoke up, Pusha dropped a low-key heads up in Rolling Stone saying he was trying to bring his brother back into the booth. He said, I'm like, yo, listen to what I just made. We can really do this. But No Malice brushed it off. Pusha added, if I had it my way, it would be the Clipse. It's really up to my brother. And just like that, Jim might have handed them the perfect excuse to reunite. The Clipse comeback rumors started buzzing heavy after they hit the stage at Pharrell's Something in the Water Festival in Virginia Beach back in 2022. A few months later, Clipse showed up again, this time at Complex Con. Then boom, Hyde Park Summerfest in Chicago. The brothers hit the stage and tore through classics from Lord Willin' and Hell Hath No Fury and No Malice. He looked more than ready to jump back in for real. But what happened after that? That's when the whole vibe shifted. Clipse were spotted in Paris, strutting down the Louis Vuitton runway, hand in hand with Pharrell, who had just taken over as creative director for LV's menswear line. Jay-Z and Beyonce were front row, locked in and vibing with it all. And then, the moment that shook the room, a brand new Clipse track dropped mid-show through the speakers. It was raw, it was razor sharp, and there was no confusion about who they were going at. Jim Jones just got called out right there in the middle of Paris Fashion Week. Pusha T wasn't even being subtle. He aimed straight at Jim, and this wasn't just a diss track, it was art. A lyrical hit job delivered with high fashion flair, co-signed by the biggest names in the game. And behind it all, Pharrell. Fans instantly started piecing it together. Was this Pharrell's quiet payback? A next-level chess move cooked up from LV's own HQ to clap back at Jim for years of slick comments and shade? Could be, especially since Jim had been out here hyping up Drake as the GOAT in interviews, putting himself on the opposite side of Pusha's biggest rivalry. He made it real clear whose team he's on during that complex sit-down. And just like that, Clipse was back. No press run, no singles, just a revenge track dropped on one of the most iconic stages in the world. Jim probably thought he was just talking slick, but No Malice and Pusha, they were using his words as fuel for the coldest comeback setup we've seen in years. Now everybody's asking, did Jim accidentally hand No Malice the most legendary return moment in rap? Or did he just write his own career's obituary in the process? Because Clipse ain't even dropped the album yet, and already, the damage is being done, and we can't ignore Pharrell, the silent mastermind behind all of this. He's not just their producer, he's family. He's the one who crafted their sound, shaped their identity from the jump. So when Jim downplayed Clipse in interviews, mocked their catalog, and called their legacy irrelevant, he didn't just diss Pusha, he disrespected everything Clipse stood for. What nobody saw coming, though, was how No Malice would respond. Let's keep it real. He'd been quiet for over a decade. The older brother who walked away from the rap game found faith and stepped into a whole new lifestyle. While Pusha stayed in the trenches, Malice took a peaceful path, made it clear he was done with rapping. He said it more than once, he wasn't coming back, and yet here he is. And all it took was one disrespectful comment to bring him back into the ring. So when No Malice's voice came through the speakers at the Louis Vuitton show in Paris, it wasn't just surprising, it was chilling. Now pause and really think about that. He wasn't just tossing out random bars. These were layered disses, sharp and personal, aimed with precision. Bird talk, we all parrots. That wasn't just wordplay. That was a direct shot at Bird Gang, Jim's whole brand, his crew, his image. And then Paris and Dallas, those weren't random either. Those are the exact same cities Jim shouted out just days earlier in his freestyle over the Chains and Whips beat. No Malice wasn't just clapping back, he was paying attention. But here's where it gets even crazier. People started noticing something deeper. No Malice wasn't just rapping again. He was rapping like he'd been waiting for this, like he'd been holding back for years, and now the lid was finally off. His return didn't feel like a one-off, it felt like a warning. And Jim, he gave him the green light to go full force. He even posted a clip of himself laughing at Pusha's Paris verse, trying to brush it off. But when he hit Drink Champs, that mask slipped real fast. When NORE brought up the Clipse diss, Jim flinched. That moment right there, he admitted it got to him. Behind the jokes, the cracks started to show. So what did Jim do? He ran to the booth and dropped his Chains and Whips freestyle, firing back over the exact same beat Clipse had used to call him out. Then came the BET Awards, and that's where it got even messier.
Right now, 2025, I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap circles around. Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them. But they forget, I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself. Gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there. I want to go down the line now, because now we going down the line.
Bootleg Kev sat Jim down for a quick interview, and Jim did what he always does, tried to act like it was nothing. When asked about Clipse's new single, Chains and Trumpets, Jim didn't hold back. He brushed it off like it was weak, claiming Clipse was just leaning on nostalgia and their bars weren't hitting. But instead of sounding cool under pressure, Jim came off like a rapper losing control, spiraling right in front of the cameras. Because what do you do when the same artists you tried to clown start leveling up in front of the whole industry? You either double down or fall back. And Jim, he doubled way down. Just when it felt like Jim Jones couldn't dig the hole any deeper, he pulled out another shovel on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp. This time, he circled back to his favorite punching bag, Nas. He claimed Nas was never really influential, said he always played second fiddle to Jay-Z and DMX. And then he really lost the room, he said with a straight face. That's like saying Jordan fell off after Space Jam. Come on now, that's just delusional. Meanwhile, while Jim kept chasing headlines, Clipse was moving in silence, pulling off a master plan. They officially dropped the full rollout for their long-awaited reunion album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. And if people thought Chains and Whips was the grand finale, nope, that was just the warm-up. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a full-blown power move. And the rollout? Oh, it was different. Clipse didn't just tease fans, they shook the room. From cryptic billboards to surprise merch drops, every move felt like a setup for something bigger. Then came the trailer. Gritty visuals, church bells, war horns, and that chilling line from No Malice, "We tried peace." That's when it clicked. This wasn't just about rap, this was personal. Pusha T was locked in. No Malice looked like a man with something to prove. And the production, you could feel Pharrell's fingerprints all over it. Cinematic, eerie, aggressive. They weren't chasing hits. They were dropping messages, and everyone watching knew exactly who they were talking to. But while Clipse moved like silent assassins, Jim kept talking. He hit another interview, this time trying to downplay everything, saying, "They just trying to ride my wave." Bro, your wave? These are the same guys who gave the game grinding, and you weren't even outside when they set the blueprint. And the fans weren't buying it anymore. Social media lit up with side-by-sides, comparing Jim's freestyle to Clipse's verses. It wasn't even close. Suddenly, the crowd that once hyped Jim's boldness started turning on him. The tone shifted, the laughs got quieter. Because here's the truth. Clipse came back sharper, colder, and more focused than ever. And all it took was one man doing too much talking. Jim didn't just spark a battle. He woke up giants who had been waiting to remind the world who really runs this. The features? Straight legendary. Nas, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler, The Creator, The Dream, John Legend, and of course, the whole thing was executive produced by Pharrell. But here's the twist. This game-changing album was originally set to drop through Def Jam until they allegedly tried to censor Kendrick's verse. Word is, Kendrick went off, throwing slick jabs at Drake, Travis Scott, and the industry's fake politics. Clipse wasn't having it. They pulled the whole project out of Def Jam and took it straight to Rock Nation. That move said everything. This wasn't about nostalgia anymore. Clipse came back as power players. And Jim, the same dude who questioned who Pusha even had on his team, yeah, they answered that loud and clear. This shift didn't happen overnight, but now it's undeniable. Jim's not just being dissed, he's being phased out. Not canceled, not blackballed, just quietly benched. And for someone who built his name off loyalty, loud energy, and street talk, that's silence. It's cutting deeper than any bar Clipse could spit. So when Clipse drops that joint with Nas, don't expect a regular diss. That's gonna feel like a funeral. Jim can keep rapping, keep trolling, keep pretending it's all just jokes, but behind the scenes, big meetings are happening, tours are being booked, videos are in production, and none of it has his name on it. So now the real question isn't, will Jim respond? It's, will anybody still care if he does? And he wanted to go viral. And now, he's standing solo, maybe canceled right out of hip-hop history. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you're rocking with the story, because this saga ain't over yet.